What's up? Hello, hello, what's up? Welcome to my kitchen, my house, and today I am taking about 20 or 30 minutes with you guys, and we're gonna food prep. And why do I love food prep? Because it saves me stress, it saves me time, it saves me money, and it saves like me not having to make so many decisions on eating cleaner and healthier. If you are watching this live, please let me know. Drop in the comments below hashtag live. If you're catching this on the replay, of course, hit me up. Say, hey girl, hey, this is a replay. And I would just love to know, where you're calling in from. I have clients all over this country. There's so many women in this group that are awesome, that are all over. And yeah, I want to know where you're calling in from. And if you have any questions with what I'm doing, I may not be able to answer them because I may not be able to see them live right now. But I will promise I will go back and answer them to the best that I can. And even if it requires maybe a direct message in your DM, something that I can just like voice to text, because if you know me, you all know that I suck at texting. I hate doing it. I'd rather just talk it and speak it and whatever. All right, you guys, my name is Karissa Atkins, and I am a health and fitness junkie, right? I am a certified master coach in life, health, and mindset and fitness, which means personal training for all of you. I work with women all across the globe. I help them boss up and get healthy, meaning I help them lose weight, gain weight, work on their body confidence, heal their relationships with food. They come out of my program with a full, complete transformation, mind, body, spirit. So I absolutely love what I do. I'm also a motivational speaker. So if any of you guys have like an amazing, company or a job and you're like, hey, we should invite her to come and speak, I would love to be able to share all of that with you guys as well. I have tons of information. I can send you my speaker media kit. Anyways, let's get cooking because food prep should be fun. Food prep should be easy. Food prep should be not stressful. And yet so many women are like, Karissa, it is so stressful. So today I'm going to cook and share the meal. So the video might get a little long, but I promise we will get it done. If you are cooking in the kitchen, I know I've invited some of you. Some of my clients have the recipes or at least the ingredients, and they are cooking along. And so, yeah, today we're cooking two different things. Super easy lunch and a super easy snack. All right, and I think I even put in the comments everything else that I'm eating this week. And as you can tell, I am very planned and organized, and being organized gives me structure. Hello, which allows me to do my thing with less stress, and just press the easy button. Okay, so today's lunch, we are cooking chicken, spiced quinoa with salsa chicken and steamed vegetables. And then we're also going to make a very quick and easy snack, which will help you, like if you're looking for that grab and go. I love horchata, so more to come on that. All right, so this is my kitchen. Welcome. This is what I'm working with now. So to the left of me is my stove, in case you're like, what is she doing over there? To the right of me is my sink. Below is my towel. And over there, once we're ready to prep or assembly line it all together, I promise I will take you with me, but over there is the counter. All right, you guys, let's get going. So first off, I'm gonna get my quinoa going, and I'm gonna tell you why here in a little bit. It's one of my tips. But in this pot, okay, we are going to start the stove. I have the ingredients for this spiced quinoa is bone broth, chicken broth. You could use water, but hey, so many people complain that quinoa is blah and boring. And so that is exactly why I'm giving you my delicious recipe. It's so stupid simple because that's how I roll. Life is way too busy to complicate everything. So this is a 3-ingredient meal. Okay, 3-ingredient side dish. All right, bone broth, chicken broth, water, whatever liquid substitute you want. Okay, I have 2.5 cups of this in this pot. All right, and the reason why the cool ratio to quinoa is 2 cups liquid, 1 cup quinoa. Personally, this week, I only need about a cup and a half because I am riding so low in the house. My husband's TDY, my daughter's with her dad. So yeah, my food prep time and bill and everything just shrunk drastically. All right, so add your 2 cups, or if you need 2 full cups, make sure you just do the math right. Again, I have 1.5 or 2.5 cups of broth in here. And I'm going to let that, I put it on I call it the power eye, so it's a lot faster. So we want to bring that to a boil. Here is the secret. Dave, Sazon, Goya. Yes, I am Puerto Rican. Yes, I use this for everything. My other favorite Goya product is, it's actually like adobo, okay? But Goya is the name, adobo is the seasoning. I've tried other adobos and they just don't beat Goya. So if you're looking for Karissa's secret, this is it. I add this stuff to guacamole. I add this stuff to pretty much almost every meal I make, okay? I make this stuff with rice and beans, spiced white rice for today, because rice is a high lactine food and it's something that I do need to start to cut back on. Y'all, if you didn't know, I have Hashimoto's and I have a lot of food sensitivities. I can't do dairy, eggs, high lactine foods, and gluten. And so a lot of people, of course, are like, oh, how miserable is that? And I'm like, actually, I eat really good and it helps me keep my slim six pack. But anyways, you guys, most of the things that I make are gluten and dairy and egg free. And the reason why I say most is because I take these amazing supplements, 3 different things a day that help control all of the shit that happens in my body if I do eat gluten, dairy, eggs, etc. It allows me to have just a little bit of a cheat every now and then. All right, okay, so for this recipe, normally I would do 2 cups, okay? Or 2 cups cooked quinoa, but I'm only doing 1.5. So I would measure this out as in 1 packet per 1 cup. All right, let's throw that in the pot. You guys, one of my tips that I do when I'm food prepping, first things first, if you've got kiddos or a husband, recruit them. You do not need to be cooking all of the food by yourself. Or maybe you're like, get out of the kitchen and come in when I'm ready for you to clean up and do everything, right? So this one is just a half, because remember, it's 1 packet per half, okay? And it's so, honestly, so cheap. I'm not even going to save the rest of this. I have nothing else this week to cook with, but normally I would, dump the whole pack in. Okay, so tip number 1 is recruit. All right. You never have to food prep or go at it alone. Maybe you are not prepping your lunches or your breakfasts, but maybe you're prepping a couple casseroles for your weeknight dinners to press the easy button. Okay. You don't have to go at it alone. Ask for help. Get the kids involved. Trust me, if my daughter was here, she'd be more than likely she's the one who's chopping up strawberries, prepping like my pico de gallo, something like that, because it's good for me to get my kids involved. They know how to cook, they know how to fend for themselves, and they know how to eat clean. Thank you, Mama. All right, so if you're like me and you love quinoa and you cook it all the time, I just buy giant bags and then I put it in my own containers. But if you're like, I've never cooked it ever, right? It's like little baby grain, like little baby balls, okay? Quinoa. And it is a grain, but it doesn't have gluten in it. And this happens to be mixed tricolor plus plain white. Now, you can use any kind, I'm telling you. Normal quinoa is pretty bland, so a lot of people just add, cook it in the chicken broth. However, I take it to the next level and of course add the seasoning. All right, my pot is ready to go. And remember, I did 2.5 cups of broth because I want 1.5 cups cooked quinoa when I'm done. So there's 1 full cup. I'm gonna measure it out, and voila. Okay. Quinoa, give it a stir and everything. Don't worry, I'm gonna bring my laptop over here so you can kind of see what it looks like prior, because you're gonna see what it looks like after too. All right, in the pot. See how that the juice looks so kind of dark and rich? It's going to be great. So the reason why I started with quinoa, why not chicken, quinoa, is because you always want to start prepping with the ingredient that's going to take you a long time, okay? So if you're prepping sweet potatoes, right, in the oven, sweet potatoes take a long time, a lot longer than a regular potato, okay? So a quick tip on sweet potatoes is if you're just cooking it up for like the whole week and you're gonna eat a half a sweet potato with every meal, my advice, chop it up into bite size, like, 1-inch cubes, then drizzle it with some olive oil, some garlic, salt, throw it in the oven. It just kind of reduces the time versus like a whole sweet potato. But hey, if you got 2 hours in the kitchen that you wanna spend, go for it. All right, you guys, that was another tip. Start with the ingredient that's going to take you the longest. And everything that I'm cooking today, it's going to be the quinoa. All right, so now that it's kind of going, we're gonna let it boil for a couple minutes and then we're gonna turn it down and just let it simmer, all right? And you may have some extra bone broth. I know I do, it's probably like this much left. Sometimes I end up kneading it towards the end. My couscous or my quinoa isn't quite done and it needs some more liquid substance, so I just keep pouring that in. If I didn't have any left, I would just use some water, all right? But little bits at a time. Why? Because you can always add. It's hard to take out. All right, so I'm gonna put that to a different burner, actually. And I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna move my big skillet over to my back to the burner, okay? So, got my quinoa going. Now I got my skillet going. So what do we need the skillet for? For our chicken, all right? Sometimes I grill my chicken, but today we're pressing the easy button. We're just gonna fry it up in the pan. So for your chicken, I have, let's back it up really quick because I wanna give you a third tip, okay? Never food prep on an empty stomach. It's kind of like a golden rule. You don't go to the grocery store on an empty stomach, hopefully, because you're hungry and everything starts to sound good and all of a sudden your bill's $100 more than you planned. We don't really want to food prep either when we're hungry. So prior to this, right, I went to the gym, I picked up my groceries, and I came home and I cooked myself 3 egg tofu tacos. And I like to say egg because it makes me think I'm eating eggs, but it's at the end of the day, it's scrambled tofu. So delicious with homemade pico de gallo. It was so, so good. I almost debated going live with the tofu, but I was like, you know what? No, we'll just stick to the chicken and the lunches. So what you're gonna need with the chicken, okay? What are you gonna need? You're gonna need chicken breasts or chicken thighs, whatever it is that you want to use. You could do a combination. The difference for me is chicken breasts do get a little drier throughout the week. Chicken thighs, of course, stay nice and moist. However, the downside is they are packed with a little bit more fat, so it's not as lean. But again, we're just learning how to food prep. So today I actually have both chicken breast and chicken thighs because my macros can afford a little bit extra fat throughout the day. I don't, most of my dinners are really low in fat, my breakfast low in fat, so I don't really worry about my fat content too much. All right, for this, I had a jar of On the Border salsa in the fridge already, right next to the hot mango habanera. And I do not normally have this stuff in my kitchen or my fridge because normally I make my own homemade salsa and my own pico de gallo, and it's kind of like it's always made every week because my daughter loves it. She puts it on everything. However, I was trying to save money this week. I didn't want to make up any more pico. And I was like, oh, look, I already have salsa in the fridge. So we've got salsa. All right. The second thing that I have is my cut up chicken. It took me 3 minutes to cut up, dice up, trim off the fat of all of my chicken. Okay, so it didn't take me long. I did this right before. I probably started right at 10 o'clock. But yes, you want to kind of prep the next item. Okay? All right, so in my pan, I always have coconut oil right here with a little spoon. We want to get this pan nice and hot, which the burner is at least hot. But I just threw probably a tablespoon in my skillet so that I can saute up my chicken. We're not gonna need the salsa until closer to the end. All right, the chicken goes into the pot for the party. All right, Yep, my oil's nice and hot. Going in. All right. So my chicken thighs are in the party to play. All right. It looks kind of bare and naked right now, but there you have it. My two favorite spices, if you couldn't tell, was Goya and garlic salt. Like literally, I put garlic salt on almost everything, and if it's not garlic salt, it's real garlic. All right, and I'm actually going to throw some of that in this chicken because I forgot, hey, I already have a jar that's all cut up. But I put this stuff on my tofu scrambled eggs. I put this on my chicken. Like, I swear, when I'm at the gym, you guys, people can smell garlic and onion. That's how much garlic and onion I eat throughout the week. But anyways, we are going to season up our chicken. So a lot of women tell me, they're like, I don't know how to cook. I was never taught to cook. And, you know, I was never really taught. I mean, my mom taught me some of my favorite recipes, like family recipes. But you guys, she was a workaholic, right? She was always at her job. She was an entrepreneur. She was always at her job. And I had to cook for 4 of us. So I just kind of learned. And the beautiful part about cooking is that you just go by taste. A little taste. Don't eat the whole bowl, you know, whatever. But so when it comes to measuring out things, I don't really follow that too well, hence why I don't bake, okay? All right, so I'm sprinkling my Goya. I already hit it with my garlic salt. And this is going to be fabulous. All right, so that's just going to kind of cook up. When it gets almost done, we're going to throw in, not the whole jar, we're going to just throw in a little bit, okay? We don't need the whole jar, and then it'll save it for next time. All right? Okay, so while the chicken is cooking and the quinoa is cooking, and you do just want to kind of every now and then keep stirring the quinoa. But anyways, you guys, I want to give you some more food prep tips while this is going. And then we're going to start on that horchata chia seed pudding. Okay, another tip is you should start off in a clean, organized kitchen. So after breakfast, I cleaned the dishes that I got dirty. I loaded my dishwasher. I unloaded it because, hey, I'm riding solo this week. But I want to make sure that my space is set up for success, okay? I pulled out every single thing that I was going to need for food prep today. It's all on just different counters so that I had room for the laptop. But I always start off with a clean, organized kitchen, because if I was cooking here and a whole pile of dishes was in my sink or my dishwasher, like I'd be trying to multitask too much now, and I risk the chance that I am going to burn my food, and I don't want to do that because, again, I'm cooking for the whole next week. Lunches, breakfast, dinners, not dinners. I love to cook dinners every night. But normally during the school year, you guys, I prep my lunches, my breakfasts as much as I can, and then my snacks if I need to. Sometimes I just cook up a whole nother meal for my snacks, okay? All right, so the other tip that you want, let me go grab them real quick, is you want to get your containers out. All right, so on the other counter, all of my containers are all spread out, ready to go. I love these black containers. There's one section here, one bigger one here. You can get these on Amazon, and they're microwave safe, they're dishwasher safe, so press the easy button, get yourself some containers. I also have a bunch of little baby jars, okay? So I use these for overnight oatmeal, hot oatmeal in the morning. Today we are using them for our chia seed pudding that we're about to start, okay? So quality food prep containers. They don't have to cost you a lot of money, but you do need to have them. Okay, let me give my quinoa a quick stir. Looking good. This is I can already see that I'm going to need a little bit more bone broth, so because I have it, I'm going to go add it in. Now you can follow the package directions. I'm pretty much following the package directions here. I just added those seasonings, so that's all the differences there. And before we move on, I'm going to give my chicken a quick mix up. Now, if I was prepping for my husband, I would have to do chicken either in 2 pans or 2 doses. It just depends on if I feel like getting another pan dirty. But we eat the same thing. He just eats more of it because he's a man and his macros need to be higher. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right. I'm trying to definitely shout over my chicken here. Okay, so chicken's looking good. It's browning. Let's move on because we're just waiting for this to cook, right? So, the third part of my lunch, girls, we gotta have the greens. You gotta have the vegetables, right? And they're good carbs. You can almost have as many vegetables as you want as long as you have not cooked them in a shit ton of butter. All right, so when I steam my vegetables, and why steam? Because it's like done in a matter of minutes. But I also love roasting my vegetables. So in the fall time, I would just put all of this onto a baking dish, roast it. Oh, so good. But I'll save that for the fall and the winter. So this is super old, but I got it from Pampered Chef. It's a steamer pretty much, okay? At the end of the day, it's a steamer. It goes into the microwave, and I'm just gonna start. I've already got, this was from last week, okay? So I always buy the big bags of veggies normally. Especially when my daughter's around, you guys, because she'll just make up broccoli for breakfast. But today I wanted some green beans, and I knew I had the extra broccoli, so we're going to add that to this pot. And because it's kind of full, I'm just going to cook the green beans one at a time. Or not one at a time, but like if this was something smaller and I had more room, I would throw the broccoli in with it, okay? It doesn't have to be complicated. I have extra virgin olive oil, EVOO. Okay, so I'm going to just give it a sprinkle. Give it some spice. Got my garlic salt out. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water into this container. Just enough because we're going to steam it. All right? I'm going to put my lid on. Voila. You guys, this is going to go in the microwave for 5 minutes. Boom. My green beans are going to be done. Check, check, check. Once my green beans, you guys, are done, I'm going to do the same thing with broccoli. All right? I'm going to, and you'll see it, I'll take it out when it's done. We're going to drain the water, and then we're going to set it on the counter because we're going to assembly line this whole thing called food prep. It makes it so, so easy. All right. You're going to want to make sure you have your trash can near you, or I just have like one of those plastic Walmart bags right here in the sink, so anytime I need to just throw something away, I don't have to walk back and forth, okay? And so that just kind of saves time. Because so many people tell me they don't have time to food prep, but I'm like, man, you have time to sit in the McDonald's line or the Subway line every single day for lunch, or the Starbucks line. What a waste of time. So at the end of the week, right, I've saved a lot of time and money because I'm not sitting in somebody's line. So the fact that you don't have time is just a straight up joke, okay? And I know, you're not going to probably like that, but it's true. You guys, if something's important to you, you make time for it. All right, I'm going to need a little bit more bone broth. Told you we were going to need it. Add a little bit more and keep the simmering going. Quinoa typically takes like 20 minutes or so, depending on how, just depending on your stove. So it should be done all around the same time. And my chicken's looking good. We've got about 5 more minutes on this, 5-10 more minutes on the chicken max, and then this is all going to be done. And I'll show you exactly what we're doing. Okay, let's see. I told you about recruiting your family members. Unless you're riding solo like me today, then you got to do everything. I told you about the tip of start with a clean kitchen. I told you about the tip to have food prep containers. Okay, they don't need to be fancy. Glad does them too. You can buy them in the Walmart grocery store. Let's see. Oh, I told you about the tip that you always want to start with the item that's going to take you the longest. So sometimes, ladies, I have a rice cooker, and it saves a lot of time, and I love it because I can make a lot of rice very quickly. So if I was doing rice this week instead of quinoa, so like sometimes my husband likes rice and I'll do the quinoa, I will start the rice before I go to the gym. So literally you measure out the rice, you pour in the water, and you set it and forget it, and it's done by the time you get home. But you do have to be a little prepared, right? You got to know that you're going to be cooking rice. That way you can set it and forget it. Hop off autopilot for a little bit and start living your life, okay? Being intentional and mindful with your living. All right, so then we're just prepping up stuff, right? That's where we're prepping up all the food right now, and that stuff. And then in the end, we're going to assembly line it. I kind of told you at the end, it's so much easier to just, if something gets done, I just go put it on the counter or the kitchen table, because you know it's not for the laundry, ladies. Kitchen table, and then I will just literally dish it up very quickly. You'll be able to see that here in a minute. All right. And as you cook your chicken, sometimes you get a lot of that juice, you know, if you've got chicken thighs, sometimes it gets, you know, you got the fat, the extra fat in there. That's okay. So you may have to drain it as you go. Not a big deal. All right, that's looking good. Let's start the chia seed pudding. All right, so I don't need the cutting board. I already prepped everything. Chia seed pudding. All right, I'm going to give you the link to this recipe, so if you're like, whoa, slow down, because I have really prepped nothing on it, and we're going to do that now. So, use your favorite unsweetened milk. You can do oat milk. You can do, yesterday I met a gal at a spouse's party. She uses banana milk. I was like, where do you find that, girl? That would be good. I like almond milk, not a big deal, but you want the unsweetened almond milk. We're going to need 1 cup of that. Now, I love horchata. It's something I grew up eating all the time. In fact, we would always kind of recreate it with white rice, milk, and cinnamon because we didn't always have a lot of money. But I love horchata. Okay, I love the drink. It's so filled with dairy that I can't have it. And so this chia seed recipe pudding is going to be awesome. All right, so what we're going to need is the unsweetened milk. We're going to need the chia seed. Same thing, you guys. I throw these in my smoothies. It's a source of protein. If you say chia, it's okay. I say chia. It doesn't matter. Who cares? But I buy it at such big bulk because I use so much of it. So again, it's got its own container in my pantry. We are going to need some maple syrup. We're going to need vanilla and cinnamon, okay? And then your favorite protein powder. I get this question a lot. I just use Gold Standard Whey protein, and I always buy vanilla because then I can mix it with anything, okay? Again, my husband likes chocolate. Ladies, if you like chocolate, I'm not a chocolate fan, so I don't really care for chocolate. But you are going to want quality protein for this recipe. All right, I have my measuring cups. It's 1 cup, 1/4 of a cup, and then my spoons. But before we start, I think I heard the microwave go, so 1 second. Yep, so in this cool little steam pot, there's like holes on the top. So I'm just going to drain that water. Okay. And I'm going to set this over on the counter because now my green beans are done. And then when I'm done with this video, you guys, I'll just make 5 minutes of broccoli and voila. Okay. Now, if you're not a multitasker, if you are not a food prep ninja like me, you do not have to start another meal until one is completely finished. I want you to know that, okay? It's important for you not to try and do too many things going on at once. And once you become a better food prepper, trust me, you will then be able to start to multitask. I've been food prepping for 10 years, well, 9 years pretty much. So it comes very easy for me. And I've been doing it, okay? Let me stir my quinoa again. All right, that's looking good. Turn it down to low and you'll be good to go. All right, chia seed pudding, 1 big bowl, okay? We want 1 cup milk. Now, if you're gonna double this, go for it. I'm just gonna do a single batch because I want to. All right, it's easy to make up, and sometimes if I need more, I can always make more up during the week. All right, 1 cup milk. So the milk's done. Once I'm done with it, different counter. I don't need it over here in my way. I need 1/4 cup of chia seed pudding. Okay, 1 cup. Oh, I already, you can tell I use it all the time. I keep my things in there. My tools in there. Oh, love chia seeds, you guys. Love it, love it, love it. All right, chia seeds in the bowl for the party. 1 teaspoon vanilla. Who doesn't love vanilla? Love it. Okay. Oh, that's a tablespoon, Karissa. All right. Now, it's stuff like this that I typically follow the recipe on. But as you get good, you won't even need to, like, it'll just come so natural. All right. All right. Looking good. My chicken's browning. A couple more minutes, then we're going to add the salsa. All right. Let's see. We just added the vanilla, and now we've got the cinnamon. We want 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I love cinnamon. Cinnamon's good for your heart, you guys. I'll add cinnamon to my coffee. If I'm doing bulletproof coffee, there's a lot of cinnamon in that. All right, done. Maple syrup. Not a huge fan of adding maple syrup, but hey, we'll try it. So instead of maple syrup, you could always use honey, I bet. But for the first go around, we're gonna try what it calls for. All right, and it calls for 1 tablespoon. Okay, that's in the pot or in the bowl. And then it calls for 1 cup quality protein powder. So let's see, because that cup is wet, I don't want to add it. Let's see, sorry. To save dishes, I could have did all the dry stuff first. But anyways, okay, so it calls for 1 cup. I need 2 of these because this is a half now. 1 and 2. Okay, done with that. All this goes into the sink. We're gonna stir it up, mix it up, and then we're gonna check on our chicken. Okay? Let's see, I need a spoon. Where's my spoon? Okay, just stirring up my pudding here. Now, it doesn't take chia a long time to set, and it will get, because it's kind of, obviously it's like a bead now, so it's kind of hard, but as you, like, if you added it to a smoothie, by the time you were drinking your smoothie, you wouldn't even know it was in there. So clients that I work with, they're like, how do I get extra protein into my diet? And because they all realize that they're not getting enough protein in. And I'm like, oh, we'll add chia seeds. There's protein in everything, you guys. I could do a whole video on protein. All right, so that's kind of mixed up. It looks and smells delicious. Okay? All right, so I'm going to set this over there on the counter, and we will fill it up here in a little bit. But some other things that we could add to our horchata pudding is going to be like cocoa nibs. We could do fresh fruit, granola, nut butters. I happen to have sweet cocoa nibs, and I picked them up. They're gluten-free, vegan, non-GMO, all the crap that everyone wants these days. And so I happen to have them in the cupboard already. So hey, press the easy button again and just go for it. All right, over here. All right, so my chicken, oh my God, it smells so good. We're coming up on the very end. So chicken is brown, pretty much done, by the way. It's got a nice crisp to it, so I love that coconut oil. So now we're gonna add the salsa. All right, so again, I'm not really measuring. I just want you guys to see this. I'm just kind of going by eyeball here. You can use any of your favorite salsa, you guys. Like seriously. All right. I'm gonna stir that up. Add a little bit more. This is the easiest meal like ever. You guys could make this for like dinner done in 30 minutes if you're at home for dinner. All right, you guys, so that's just got a couple of minutes to cook left. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to come over here to this side of the kitchen, and as you can see, I've got my containers all ready to go, and I'm just gonna start dishing up my chia seed pudding. Okay, here we go. I already have my fresh fruit cut up. I did that prior to, like I said, I started everything about 10. I cut up my fruit, that's done. I cut up my tofu, which is in the fridge here, not cut up, but I took it out of its package and put it in here for my breakfast tomorrow morning, or for my breakfasts every day. So then at breakfast time, all I do is I grab my gluten-free bread that's in there, I grab my fruit, and I grab my tofu. Voila, done. Okay? All right, chia seed pudding. Oh, I love it. Okay. Cool. I got my jars. Okay, you can buy these at Walmart. You get them anywhere, you guys. Like for real. And I'm just going to pour it into my jars. Now I made enough for, these are my snacks again, because breakfast I'm doing tofu, scrambled tofu with a piece of toast and some butter and some fresh fruit. And then my AM snack will be a peanut butter banana smoothie. Love that smoothie, so easy. And then my lunch is gonna be this chicken, quinoa, and greens, meaning my green beans and my broccoli. And and then my PM snack is going to be an alternate of this chia seed pudding. And then on the opposite days, I'm going to do hummus and bell peppers. Okay, I love hummus. I love bell peppers. Put them together. You got a great snack. All right, that is done. Now I'm going to go grab the chicken. I'm going to grab the quinoa. I'll be right back, you guys. Bring in my chicken. Got that. Got my quinoa. You're gonna notice I really don't measure anything. I've been doing this again so long, I don't need to measure everything. But if you are really following like a strict food plan, right, that it gives you maybe a half a cup of this and a full cup of that, like by all means measure. But I feel like that's just super like complicated and I don't like measuring. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna divide it out, okay? Oh, you know what, we're gonna start with our quinoa because I love it when it's like a quinoa bowl. So let's start with quinoa first, okay. Oof, quinoa's done and there's so much of it. I typically always like overcook it, but it's super cheap. And so I will just box up the rest of the quinoa. And then if I ever need like a side dish for dinner, boom, quinoa is done. Okay, really again, not measuring. This is probably about a half a cup of quinoa though. Cause if you eat as much as I do, you don't need a lot. Yeah, way too much like always. It's all good. If my daughter was here, she would eat it. I remember when I was staying with my best friend Jen, her little boy, he's like 6 years old. He was like, "Can I try that?" And I'm like, "Sure." And sure as shit, he loved quinoa. And in fact, he started taking it to school for his food prep. And his teacher like literally emailed Jen and she goes, I have never met a 6-year-old who brings quinoa and chicken to school. And I'm like, I know. She goes, yeah, his aunt is staying with us for a couple months. And anyways, okay. All right, dishing my chicken up. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. I don't need to taste it because I've made this before, but you guys be prepared if you're tasting it as you go. You're gonna want to eat some. And that's okay. If you haven't eaten, go ahead and dish up yourself a plate. Okay, so I have been on this, we started what? 10:30, 40 minutes. Now it's taking me a little longer because I'm walking you through it. But if I wasn't walking you through it, you guys, this whole thing would be done in about an hour, okay? All right, and of course I have some extra because just because you have it doesn't mean it needs to go in the bowl, you guys. So see, it's so beautiful, smells so good. We're gonna add the green beans. See how it's like an assembly line? And you might find out you don't even need the broccoli. Like it may, it's gonna be close. And I eat enough broccoli and stuff throughout. Yeah, it turns out I don't even need the broccoli. So boom. Turns out though, if I did, I was like, okay, well I could make up the broccoli and then again, store it for later. And it's one less side dish I have to make one of these days. All right, beautiful. We are done. I got my chia seeds puddings all done. I'm so excited to try them. I'm actually gonna go and make up one more batch because I want at least one of those today. And then I'm gonna take one of them to my clients when I see her tomorrow and be like, try this. And then again, I'll add the cocoa nibs later when I go to eat it. That way it's, they're nice and crunchy and stuff. But again, same thing, granola, just prep that out, put it in little baggies, take it with you. You guys, there is absolutely no reason why you cannot do this for yourself, okay? Each one of these meals, first off, under $3, okay? And probably less than that, honestly. There's only 5 meals here. But I'm just stacking as I'm talking to you guys, right? So that's really all I have today. If you guys enjoyed today's video, let me know. I'm happy to bring you into the kitchen and make other things. It saddens my soul when I hear women that are like, I don't know how to cook and I don't know how to food prep, but I know it would help me reach my health goals so much more. Reach out to a sister. I can totally help you. I've been doing this a long time and it's actually fun for me. I love it. So anyways, you guys, it's Sunday. Go have a self-care Sunday. I have got just a couple of things around the house to do, and then I think I'm gonna go outside for a nature walk. It's gonna be gorgeous here where I'm at, not too hot, not too cold. I wish I could get into the pool, but it really has to be like 100 for me to wanna get into the pools or the lakes. And so since it's only in the 80s, I'm like, okay, we're gonna go walk around and enjoy some nature and just, you know, have some self-care time by myself. But anyways, you guys have a great afternoon. If you enjoyed it today, again, give me the thumbs up. What was your favorite part about the video today? What are you willing to try today? Have a great day, ladies. Bye.